Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another heavyweight news and note smash-up video today, starting with Anthony Joshua. So he may end up staying on Sky Sports at least for his next fight. So this is being reported by Dan Raphael, who says Joshua is poised to remain with Sky Sports for his United Kingdom broadcasting rights, a source with knowledge of the discussions told Fight Freaks Unite. That's Dan Raphael's platform that he's founded. It continues, no deal is done, but Joshua has been with Sky Sports for his entire career and regularly done big business on Sky Sports box office, its pay-per-view arm. So we'll just cap it off there. So some people might be asking, well, why would Joshua stay with Sky for his broadcasting if his promoter, Eddie Hearn, is with DAZN? And as we know, Joshua signed a lifelong or career-long deal with Eddie Hearn to be promoted by Matchroom. But he was the one fighter that was not pitched in with the rest of Matchroom in terms of the broadcasting deal for DAZN. And why would that happen? Well, a lot of money at stake. And as we know, those sort of big fights for Joshua and Usyk, Joshua and others in recent years generate a lot of pay-per-view dollars. So that is outside of what went to DAZN. And I said at the time, it was going to be a question what would happen. And this is not confirmed at the moment, but a lot of money involved. People will be wanting to get Joshua on their platform because he brings eyeballs and money to their doorstep. And in recent months, Adam Smith, if you've seen some comments, he has been very bullish about saying that Joshua is going to stay with Sky and be on Sky. And maybe he obviously knew something or a few things that we didn't about the potential for Joshua to remain with them and where negotiations were at. But certainly this story is sort of seeding it out there. So don't be surprised when it does get confirmed. And I know some people will be a little confused and saying, oh, this isn't being loyal to Hearn and that. It's boxing, it's business. At the end of the day, people got to grow up. Joshua will do what's best for Joshua in terms of the money sense. And if you hadn't figured that out by now because of all the decisions that have been made previously about going to Saudi Arabia, come on, wake up. Meanwhile, sticking with Anthony Joshua, who believes he could get Tyson Fury to come out of retirement. So Fury, after his win over Dillian Whyte, had stated he was done. He was going to be retiring, but as yet he hasn't vacated his WBC title. But of a potential fight with Fury, Anthony Joshua says, if Fury was in the boxing arena, was to come out of retirement and honour the gentleman's agreement, there's a lot of money to be made. First and foremost, I have a pound-for-pound fighter on my list in Usyk, and obviously he's talking about if he beats Usyk in the rematch, who's a tough competitor for sure. People say I only focus on what's in front of me, which is a good way to be, but I also want to look at what the bigger picture holds so I can steamroll through. I have to, so I can get to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So for sure, I feel like retirement doesn't mean you've completely given up and you're on the beach clicking your phone, drinking a bottle of Corona. I still feel he's ticking over and he'll come back if the right fight is presented to him. And I think a lot of fans feel this way, that Tyson Fury, the so-called retirement, is not really a retirement. He's just sort of laying in wait. And I know there's a few Fury diehards who say that Tyson Fury is worded is his bond. He won't be coming back, but we've been here before. I think Fury will come back for the right fight, especially if it was Anthony Joshua and if all the marbles were on the line. I'm expecting him to come back at some point. And someone who does want to get Tyson Fury in the ring to make a payday, Francis Ngannou, who has told Lad Bible, I think I can take everybody. Even the fact that I'm here, we're discussing about it, and this is of the Tyson Fury fight, something will make sense. It's just proof that I can make it. He's a great boxer, one of the best to ever do it. Personally, I think he's a show guy. He's a good show guy. He likes to have fun, he's cool, and what I love about him, he's a free man. He speaks free, he lives free, he's not caged, and I like that attitude. 10 years ago, I wasn't in the picture, not even in the corner like a dot, so I have my own chance. Obviously, it's not my comfort zone. I know he's an expert in that discipline, but man, don't ever count me out. A late notice opponent, for Zhang Zhilei for the Canelo Bivol undercard has been found in the form of Scott Alexander, who has a record of 16-4-2, notoriously durable. So this is actually probably about as good as I was expecting. I thought it would probably be worse, but Alexander at this late stage, he can give Zhang Zhilei some rounds. And I think after that performance against Jerry Forrester a couple of fights back, it will be good to see Zhang in some rounds. He sort of blasted his opponent out last time out in a couple of rounds. Be good to see where he's really at, because he's 39 now. Where is the gas tank at? And maybe this fight will answer a few questions in that regard, especially if it goes rounds. I mean, it wouldn't shock me. Alexander's also an aging fighter as well. If maybe Zhang catches him something with a big left at some point. But yeah, I think this is okay for really what it is. The manager of Cuban heavyweight Frank Sanchez, Mike Burrell, says that he would like his fighter to face the winner of Joseph Parker versus Joe Joyce. And he believes that at some point the belts will fracture. The winner of Usyk and Joshua 2 is going to vacate that belt. And he says, I really believe that ultimately Frank will fight the winner of Joyce and Parker for a vacant WBO title. I don't think Joyce or Parker are big enough names to entice the eventual winner of Usyk versus Joshua. So Frank will probably land the winner of that fight for a first world title. Well, I guess we'll have to see. I mean, if belts get joined up through unification, undisputed, etc., well, they could be sort of splintered eventually to the four corners. I think Usyk and Joshua, whoever holds those belts, I think unlikely to want to drop them. I mean, at the end of the day, the sanctioning bodies are going to sort of fall in line to allow undisputed to happen at some point, if it is able to happen. But I'm not sure Usyk or Joshua would just drop the belts willy-nilly. At the end of the day, Joe Joyce for Anthony Joshua in the UK is a big fight, and even for Oleksandr Usyk, there's some history there with the two from the amateurs. So I think it's probably a much more likely fight than Usyk and Frank Sanchez or Joshua and Frank Sanchez, that's for sure. And rounding out this heavyweight news and notes mashup video, so a card that's going to be on Showtime on June 10 has been confirmed. This was mooted a couple of weeks ago, and I reported briefly on the details. So Bakhodir Jalolov is going to be headlining that card versus Jack Mulowayi. So 3 heavyweight fights on the card. So you've got Jalolov, Mulowayi. That's actually a decent fight for Jalolov. I'll come to a quote in a moment. But the other 2 fights, you've got Elvis Garcia versus Alante Green. Both these guys undefeated. Garcia recently in the training camp with Deontay Wilder. And the Icelandic heavyweight Gunnar Kolbienn Kristinsson, he's going to be taking on the Ukrainian Iegor Plevako. So the Icelandic heavyweight Gunnar Kolbienn Kristinsson, he's kind of got a little bit of a profile in the pandemic because a number of press releases came out in 2020, sort of talking up the, hey, I'm the only heavyweight of my country that's a professional. So he's kind of like a bit of this boxing unicorn, sometimes talked about, but rarely seen. So this is going to be one of these things where we get to have a look at him and how good he's at. He's been with Sugar Hill Stewart for a couple of years now. But in terms of the main event, so Jalolov versus Mulowayi. So Jalolov says, I've been very anxious to return to the USA and fight there as a professional. This is a great opportunity for me to perform at my best and show everybody what's coming in the future of the heavyweight division. And Jack Mulowayi, who's coming off a 2021 win over Abdi Davtayev, unbeaten at the time, says, I'm very happy and appreciative to have another chance to come back to America. This is about a vindication for me in my career. When I boxed Frank Sanchez in 2019, I froze and was not mentally or emotionally ready to fight in the US. Now I am, and I've won 4 straight bouts since my last defeat. I am not intimidated by the reputation of my opponent. My style is to go for the knockout no matter who I fight. And my defense is my offense. I plan to give an explosive performance and prove that I am world championship level contender. So Mulowayi, when he fought Sanchez back in 2019, that went all 10 rounds. It wasn't the best advertisement for neither guy, really. I mean, Frank Sanchez just cruised and got the decision. But he is tough. He is durable. He should give Jalolov some rounds. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.